You're watching Bread and Roses, a weekly political social magazine that's broadcast in English and Persian via New Channel TV. Hi, I'm Maryam Namazie.
And I'm Fariborz Pooya. In this week's program, we'll be marking the International Women's Day by showing some of the footage of 1979 women's protests against compulsory veiling. We'll be discussing its impact on the ongoing women's liberation in Iran and internationally.
In the shocking news of the week, we'll be talking about human rights organization cage prisoners and their justification of beheadings by a British jihadist, Mohammad Emwazi. In the insane fatwa of the week, it's going to be from ISIS and their directive that women should not slap their thighs.
The good news of the week, it's about the protests and marches internationally in defense of women's rights. And we'll be discussing one such specific act by our very own Maryam Namazie.
Stay with us. 8th March, International Women's Day, must commemorate the 1979 protests of Iranian women against Khomeini's compulsory veiling order, which captured the imagination of people across the world. The protest was suppressed by brute force, and the control of women and their bodies became a pillar of the regime in Iran. Nonetheless, the women's liberation movement against the veil and Islamic rule is the greatest threat faced by the regime today. When we're discussing the issue of the veil in Europe and the West, very often we hear that it's a piece of clothing, it's people's right and choice. This is really a very Eurocentric aspect to this debate, because in reality, when you look at the challenge of people against the Islamic movement in a place like Iran, one of the key areas of battle and the fight back is with regards to the veil, because one of the first things Islamists do when they come to power is impose the veil. You see that in ISIS, it happened in Iran. And one of the main areas of fight back is against the veil, unveiling, removing veils, badly veiling, and so on and so forth.
And if it was people's culture and if people have accepted it, there won't be an issue. The fact that it's an issue because people are resisting it. And it's against people's existence. And the reason that in countries like Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, this women's issue is a key issue is because people are experiencing it every day, and they despise this sort of the enforced way of life that is clearly political. This wasn't the case, say, 40 years ago. And you could see the regression these days. And the regression actually starts in Europe. And you see the contrast between the debate in the European societies in America and where the veil is compulsory. And I think that shows the contrast.
Definitely. And I mean, one of the things is that the Iranian Revolution was a left-leaning revolution. It wasn't an Islamic revolution. It was suppressed by the Islamic movement. And when you see and hear about, this 1979 women's protest with men came out as well, in support of women's rights, against compulsory veiling, in a sense, you can see why this women's liberation movement in Iran is so radical and so deeply rooted, because it goes back to that revolutionary movement for equality.
And I think when you actually feel what was going on, or you understand, the depth of the Iranian society, because at that time, all of the society came out. You could actually see what people were feeling clearly, and when people actually understand what was going on in Iranian society, that's the basis that you could see what's going on in Iran, why there's such a strong women's movement in Iran, and how Islamic regime, after 36 years, nearly 37 years, they haven't been able to resolve the issue of women's movement and compulsory veiling.
Yeah, and it's definitely not just an issue of the veil, is it? The veil is one of many issues, but it is one of the main issues because it is such a visible sort of imposition on women. You can't leave your home without the veil. You cannot enter, government offices with men. It represents gender apartheid. It represents the debased position of women in an Islamic state.
And I think we need to recognize all the time when there's a debate about veil, it's not a choice, it's compulsory. The reason is a debate, it is debated because of the Islamic movement, and within Islamic movement, veil is not a choice, it's compulsory.
Yeah, I mean, I think in reality, looking at this issue on a mass social scale and internationally, the veil is anything but a right and a choice. Now, let's go and look at this amazing footage from the 1979 mass protests of women against the compulsory order veiling. It just is such a beautiful video, and it just shows the resistance, and sometimes you look at it and you wonder, you know, is this really Iran of, you know, is this Iran because of the way the Islamic movement has tried to eradicate that protest and those demands, but those demands are very much alive even today in Iran. Stay with us and watch this video.
Le 8 mars, à Téhéran, 50 000 femmes iraniennes dans les rues, et partout dans le monde, des milliers de femmes qui se réjouissaient de la naissance d'un mouvement de libération des femmes dans un pays islamique. Dès le premier jour, et pendant toute cette semaine de révolution des femmes, 4 d'entre nous étaient avec elles dans les rues. Manifestations, sit-ins, discussions, réunions. Et nous étions nombreuses à Paris, Lyon, Bordeaux, Marseille et d'autres villes, à mettre toutes nos forces à faire connaître leur mouvement. Nous avons transmis jour après jour leur révolte, leurs fêtes, leur violence, leur victoire. Nous, les femmes du mouvement de libération des femmes, pratiques politiques et psychanalyse, qui affirmons que quand des femmes iraniennes brisent leurs chaînes, ce sont des femmes du monde entier qui avancent avec elles.
Le 8 mars n'est ni un jour de l'Est, ni un jour de l'Ouest, c'est un jour mondial. À l'aube de la Révolution, les femmes sont oubliées. Nous sommes des femmes iraniennes, nous ne resterons pas enchaînées. Sans la libération des femmes, la Révolution n'a aucun sens. D'autres slogans, nous ne voulons pas de voile obligatoire. Les femmes luttent et leurs luttes sont victorieuses. La police a tiré des coups de feu en l'air et essayé de les faire reculer. Les femmes ont crié « Nous n'avons pas peur, nous n'avons pas peur ». Et ce jour-là, dans Téhéran, partout, des femmes discutent passionnément. Une femme qui ne porte pas le voile nous a dit « Manifester dans les rues contre le voile, ça a été l'occasion d'une grande tendresse et d'une grande solidarité entre nous. Le voile, c'est une histoire d'hommes. C'est incroyable. Ce sont toujours les hommes qui défendent le voile. »
Nous, les femmes, nous avons eu des martyrs comme les hommes. Nous avons lutté avec le voile et sans voile pour notre liberté et pour celle du peuple. Et si Khomeini continue ainsi, moi qui suis une vraie musulmane, je quitterai ma religion.
Qu'est-ce que c'est un chador pour une femme? Oui, ce que ça... Oui, comment ça les entrave, enfin, quel genre de vêtements c'est?
Il y a des années que je mets le tchador. Le tchador m'empêche de bouger, de travailler, de tenir mon enfant par la main. Mais je ne suis pas venue à la manifestation pour ne plus mettre le tchador. J'ai 6 filles et je suis venue pour que mes filles ne soient pas obligées de mettre le tchador, pour que les hommes ne l'obligent pas à le mettre. Je suis venue ici pour défendre mes filles contre le tchador.
En passant devant l'hôpital, les femmes crient « Salut les infirmières, rejoignez-nous ». Certains fanatiques religieux ont réagi très violemment aux manifestations des femmes, en les harcelant, en les injuriant et même en les frappant. Sima nous disait « Oui, la semaine dernière, j'étais en danger lorsque je descendais dans la rue parce qu'ils avaient demandé qu'on mette le tchador. J'avais mon foulard dans mon sac, j'en ai toujours un par sécurité. Des hommes dans chaque voiture qui passait disaient quelque chose. J'ai pensé que s'ils continuaient, j'agirais, je me défendrais. On a déjà fait des manifestations. Il y avait des soldats dans les rues, c'était le danger de mort. Maintenant on peut marcher devant quelques hommes, on n'a plus peur.
از اول که مسئله حجاب رو مطرح کردن ما همه زنا و اونایی که واقعا
Quand notre révolution a commencé, toute la nation luttait pour le triomphe de la liberté contre la dictature et l'impérialisme américain. Tous ensemble, femmes et hommes, sortions dans les rues et crions ensemble pour tout ce qu'on a demandé et enfin on a pu l'obtenir. Et nous, dans notre école, nous faisions des études. Nous travaillions en même temps dans les hôpitaux. Quand il y avait des blessés, on les soignait sans demander d'argent. Après, ce jour où l'armée et la garnison s'est rendue et où la révolution a triomphé, nous étions dans les rues. Et puis l'ayatollah Khomeini a dit « Ne faites plus de manifestations, n'allez plus dans les rues ». Alors nous sommes retournés à l'école. Mais depuis jeudi dernier, les religieux nous posent des problèmes. Il y a quelques jours que nous sortons dans les rues et nous disons que nous ne voulons pas de voile.
S'ils voulaient faire comme ça avec nous, ils devaient nous le dire avant la révolution. Ils devaient nous dire qu'il y a une inégalité entre l'homme et la femme.
Nous parlons pour notre droit. Nous parlons pour notre droit égalitaire avec les hommes. Et nous pensons, si nous ne parlons pas maintenant, quand la Constitution sera écrite, ils ne nous accorderont plus rien. Nous ne manifestons pas seulement pour le problème du voile, mais pour tout un ensemble de choses beaucoup plus importantes. Les femmes avocates ont été les premières à réagir et à faire des manifestations, et nous les avons suivies. Maintenant, elles sont en désaccord avec nous. Elles disent que ce problème est résolu. Mais nous voulons poursuivre notre lutte.
À Téhéran, nous avons parlé avec Kate Millett.
J'ai été impressionnée par la ferveur et le courage des femmes. Je n'ai jamais vu des femmes qui s'organisent aussi rapidement et en si grand nombre. Il y a 10, 15 000 femmes dans ces manifestations. Aux États-Unis, ça prendrait des années pour se rassembler comme ça. Il faudrait de l'argent, il faudrait écrire aux gens, il faudrait de la publicité. Ici, quelqu'un brandit un panneau pendant la manifestation avec « sit-in à la télévision » ou bien « demain au ministère de la Justice ». Et tout le monde y va. Parce que ces femmes non seulement étaient réprimées pendant très très longtemps, mais ce sont aussi des femmes qui ont fait la révolution. Elles ont été dans les rues, elles savaient qu'elles-mêmes pouvaient être tuées par le Shah et ses troupes. Ce sont celles qui ont eu le courage de sortir face au char, le courage de se soulever. Et beaucoup de femmes m'ont dit que pour leurs droits, elles pourraient se faire tuer, ça ne fait rien, la lutte doit continuer. Je n'ai jamais entendu des féministes dire des choses pareilles. On peut lire sur ce panneau « Nous refusons la tyrannie sous toutes ses formes, nous anéantirons la réaction sous toutes ses formes ». Les lycéennes étaient tellement joyeuses de manifester, ça leur a tellement plu qu'elles ne veulent plus s'arrêter. Mojgan nous a dit « Je veux vivre libre, je veux parler quand je veux faire tout ce que je veux, je n'accepte pas qu'on me donne des coups, je veux écrire tout ce que je veux écrire, jusqu'à maintenant je ne pouvais pas. Ma mère pense comme moi, elle veut la liberté, elle ne supporte pas de ne même pas pouvoir se promener dans la ville. » Après le 8 mars, de plus belle, les femmes iraniennes ont continué leur lutte. Le samedi 9, il y a eu une réunion à l'université. Le dimanche 10, un sit-in au ministère de la Justice, où les femmes ont déposé des revendications. Dès le samedi, Khomeini était revenu sur ses positions et avait déclaré que le port du voile n'était pas obligatoire. Pour les femmes iraniennes, ça a été la première victoire. Et le 12 mars, de nouveau, de l'université de Téhéran au square de la Liberté, 20 000 femmes étaient dans la rue. Elles nous ont dit « Nous sommes réveillées. Cette manifestation ne concerne pas uniquement le problème du voile. Notre lutte, c'est aussi salaire égal à travail égal, et le droit pour les femmes de travailler, la liberté de la presse, la liberté de parole, la liberté de se rencontrer et de se rassembler. Avant, les femmes iraniennes n'avaient rien, ou plutôt 4000 prisonnières politiques. Les femmes se sont politisées depuis la lutte contre le Shah. Les manifestations de femmes sont une prolongation de cette lutte. Nous continuerons jusqu'à la libération complète des femmes, Nous pensons que sans cette libération, aucune révolution réelle ne pourra exister. On voit sur ces images que pour refuser le face-à-face avec les fanatiques religieux, les femmes iraniennes leur tournent le dos, calmement.
J'avais envie de te demander pourquoi vous êtes venu là faire un sit-in devant la télévision à Téhéran.
Ah bien sûr, parce que vous savez, à la télé ou à la radio, il y a la censure, quoi.
Oui.
On n'a pas le droit de parler pour les femmes. Il y a seulement le gouvernement islamique qui doit parler, qui peut parler. Et nous, les femmes, on n'a pas le droit de parler. Hier, on a fait une manifestation. On avait à peu près 10 ou 15 000 femmes, mais ils n'ont rien dit à la télé. Seulement, il y avait des femmes, des femmes qui travaillaient à la télé. Ils sont manifestés pour qu'ils veulent travailler, mais M. Rotzadeh, elle ne permet pas. Alors, ils ont dit seulement qu'il y avait des femmes qui sont manifestées devant la télévision et il y avait des femmes qui avaient des couteaux à la main et c'était ça, c'est tout. Et nous, les 15 000 femmes, on n'a rien fait. Ils n'ont rien dit. Ils n'ont rien dit, c'est-à-dire on n'a rien fait. La manifestation, c'était rien. Les femmes ne doivent pas juger, les femmes doivent mettre le tchador, les femmes doivent faire ça, les femmes doivent faire ça. On a fait des manifestations pour dire que le gouvernement libre n'a pas le droit de dire il faut ou il ne faut pas. C'est nous qui choisirons. Et c'est nous les femmes qui choisirons notre droit.
Ce film document a été réalisé par des femmes iraniennes et des femmes en mouvement avec elles.
I hope you enjoyed that video. I mean, the thing about that video is that it just shows, you know, how much people wanted to be free, and that's why they fought for a revolution. And I think one of the most wonderful bits of that film is when you've got the two veiled women, a woman in a chador and another woman wearing the headscarf, saying that they're there to defend their daughters so that their daughters don't have to be forced to wear the veil. And one of the women says, if this is what they're going to do, I'm going to turn away from religion. And in a sense, we're seeing that in Iran today.
That's exactly what's happened. You know, we'll see there's a huge movement against religion, and in particular Islam, and there's a huge secular movement. And you know, time and again we've seen that Iranian society is not an Islamic society, is actually anti-Islamic society. I mean, that's very clear, we have to say. The other thing I think we need to pay attention to, 36 years later, we see the regression and the image that in the media and everywhere, the pro-Islamic left, for example, try to portray that, you know, or look at the debate that is currently going on. Everybody's talking about the veil as a right, especially in Europe. And I think that's important to see the regression. 1979 movement for women's liberation in Iran was a radical liberation movement, and it set the scene for the rest of the Iranian society. This is one of the moments, I think, in Iranian history that women's movement actually come out and set the scene, and it's actually is projected its power for the rest of the you know, rest of the Iranian society in days to come.
And you do see, you know, the effects of that movement today in the movement to unveil, in the movement of women who are badly veiled or improperly veiled in Iran, and this constant back and forth between women and the regime. And I think, you know, let's end this segment with one of the most beautiful slogans that you saw in this footage, which is that freedom is not Eastern or Western, but is universal. And indeed it is. Now, shocking news of this week is from Cage Prisoners, a human rights organization.
Are they?
Well, I guess there's a new definition of human rights since Amnesty International has been working with them. But basically, they had a press conference after the identity of the British jihadi Mohammad Emwazi's identity was established, defending him and saying that he was such a beautiful boy.
Yes, I think that what it's crucial to recognise that at every terrorist attack, after any incidents of this nature, suddenly you'll have a herd, and I need to underline, a herd of the Islamists will come forward, try to justify that. And next to the Islamists trying to justify those atrocities, they'll be sort of, you'll have the pro-Islamic left sitting next to them. And we saw
Socialist
this
Workers' Party.
Thank you very much.
Disgusting.
And they'll be there. I think these are the ones who actually open up the road for the Islamists.
I mean, no, sorry, I touched your microphone.
Yes, that's okay.
I'm getting excited.
Don't get excited.
I mean, the thing is that what's amazing is that one of the justifications was that Emwazi had been beaten by the security services and he had been threatened with beheading. I've been beaten. There are people in Iran who've been tortured and imprisoned and faced the worst calamities and tragedies in their lives. They're not all there beheading people.
Exactly. I've always had this argument. People say unemployment turns people into racism. Actually, unemployment turns people into joining trade unions and fighting for better environment. You know, that's what we do. And I think that the fact that somebody goes and commits atrocity is the nature of that movement, and we need to recognise. I think that's important.
There was an interesting comment on Twitter which said, what a disservice to all those people that face abuse and tragedies in their lives and turn it around into something empowering that defends humanity. How could you even compare, you know, all those people with and justify these sorts of acts?
That's what they do. So we need to recognise these so-called human rights group, these Islamist group, and the supporters are the ones actually trying to justify atrocity, and they're part and parcel of that movement and nothing else.
And what's interesting is that Amnesty International worked very closely with cage prisoners, and they in fact fired their the person in charge of gender unit, Gita Sahgal. We had her on our program. And, you know, she had basically told them that they shouldn't be working with defenders of the Taliban. And, you know, I'd like to ask Amnesty International, are you going to apologize to Gita Sahgal and to all of us for siding with Islamists at our expense? What's interesting is we contacted Amnesty International to work with us on a stoning case in Iran. They refused because they said they wanted to be impartial. Maybe it was because we weren't defending defensive jihad. In the insane fatwa of the week, it's from ISIS and their directive that women should not slap their thighs.
Okay.
But there's also a lot of other fatwas that are really outrageous. One of them is about apostates and how you can harvest the organs of apostates, dead or alive, and use it.
Without a permission.
Well, dead or alive, yeah.
I think that's the nature of this this organization and this movement. You'll see that they have no respect for human lives, and they do anything. I think the nature of these directives are basically to control society and exclude everybody and every activity, any normal human sort of activity, exclude them, and you know, and just restrict it to what they say. And I think that's the nature of these. It's just pure control, and they go to absurd, you know, distance to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's interesting because a lot of the things that are in this directive include, you know, that women are not allowed to mix. Universities UK, you were defending ISIS's position on gender segregation, that you can't shake hands with women, men and women can't shake hands. Again, you know, the amount of times I've been told that you should respect people's right to religion for not wanting to shake my hand as a woman because I'm so dirty. All of these directives are now part and parcel of their law, and that's exactly the point that we've often made, is that this is not about the right to religion. This is about Islamism's right to impose their brutal restrictions on men, women, children, anyone and everyone that tries to live in the 21st century.
This week's good news about International Women's Day and many protests that it's taken place across the world. And one such action is Maryam's topless action for women's liberation. what's going on, Maryam?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I wanted to do was to show the link between the murders of cartoonist Charlie and the murders across the globe of many men and women over many decades. I think there's a huge focus on people killed in Europe, and people don't see all those people who are resisting and dissenting, many of them women. For example, Katia in Algeria, who was shot by an Islamist because she refused to wear the veil. Neda gunned down at a protest in Iran. To someone like Salwa Boughairis in Libya, who was assassinated by Islamists for her women's rights work.
And you have all the names on your body. And I think one aspect of your protest last year and this year is naked protest. I mean, what's the significance of naked protest and sort of using the body to protest against Islamists?
Yeah, I mean, I think when we in this program we've talked about the sort of obsession that Islamists have on women's bodies, how much they hate our bodies. Their whole role is to eradicate and erase woman's humanity and her very presence from the public space. And in a sense, because of that, I think a really good challenge to that is actually to come out with your body, to show that there's nothing wrong with your body, and to use it as a tool for empowerment and for resistance.
And I think this is gaining ground, and I think you could see the spread of the movement to highlight the actually suppression of women through control of the body, and I think that's a brilliant and brave thing to do in my mind. Yes.
And one of the things too was that I used the flags of the Islamic regime of Iran, ISIS, as well as the Saudi flag. And I think one of the things is that people look at ISIS now and look at it as something horrible, but then make excuses for the Saudi regime or for the Islamic regime of Iran. And my point is that they are all one and the same fundamentally. There might be differences of degree, and part of it has to do with the challenges that they face. In Iran, for example, the Islamic regime of Iran can't be like ISIS because of that widespread movement against it.
Well, in reality, they do exactly the same thing. In Saudi Arabia, we'll see exactly the same thing that ISIS does, and in Iran, the Islamic regime, the level of execution, public flogging, acid throwing, all of those, which is subject of protest. And I think that's the key. They're exactly the same, but the degree is how much there is exposure. And they have the established states, and I think people have supposedly normal relationship with them. I think that's the key.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is important to protest and defend women's rights in any way we can. I think topless protest is a really liberating way of, and nude protest is a very liberating way of challenging the Islamists. They despise women. Being a woman is a crime under Islamic rule, and therefore to come out with your body, and to say that my body is much more than a tool for reproduction or for veiling. It is, part of my humanity. I think it's an important way to challenge the Islamists and to break the taboo that comes with, a woman's body and controls over it.
Okay, I hope, thank you very much, Maryam, for that. I hope you've enjoyed the program this week. Please do let us know your view about the program. Write to us, email us, and send us your question. We'll be happy to respond to them and include them in our program.
And don't forget, we've started a fundraising campaign with Patreon. We now have 9 patrons who are supporting us on a weekly basis. You can also be one of them. For very little amounts of money a week, up $1 a week, you can help support our work, and we would appreciate if you can, and tell people about it as well. Anyway, we hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again, same place, same time next week. Bye.
Goodbye.